Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Connect and Collaborate White Sands Self-Care, where we provide education and resources and collaboration with other professionals that can help you up-level your self-care. I am your host, Laura Cross, and we are doing a special event this morning with a special guest, Robert Peterson from AddValue2Life. Robert is passionate about helping entrepreneurs and small business owners step into their happiness and emotional freedom by taking control of their time. He is the other half of the Smiling Coaching Couple and author of The Entrepreneur Mindset Shift. Here we go. Robert helps entrepreneurs own their shit, to take responsibility for what they want and take the necessary steps to reach their dreams. He works with you on your daily goals for your business and your life by raising awareness to your calendar, thoughts, and values so that you can retake control of the hours that you have. And we wanted to do this special guest because Robert has a special workshop coming up called Productivity Unleashed, Boost Efficiency and Work-Life Balance. So Robert, if you want to tell everybody a little bit more about what you got going on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for the special announcement today and for such a great introduction. So obviously business ownership can be challenging, and we jump into running a business and we're typically really good at the thing that we do, right? With the technical side of our business. And then we start doing business and we start getting customers and demands and some people hire people, and all of the demands of business can just start to take over your life. And for me, I want to help entrepreneurs rediscover the happiness, rediscover the passion that they started with, rediscover the joy of owning their own business. I believe entrepreneurs are going to save the world, but they're not going to save the world if they're miserable and their business has taken over their life. And so I want to help them redesign their life and business around the things that matter most to them. I think, we recognize that our family is fragile. Our important relationships are fragile. And the truth is, even though we know those things are fragile and have this, soft edge to them, we still end up getting sucked into our business and spending all of our energy and effort into the business because we think making money will solve all those other things and we can protect the family. If I just make a little bit more money, if I just get this little more deal, if I just work a couple more hours. And the truth is that we're protecting the business at the expense of our family, at the expense of our important relationships. And we're putting all those things that are really important to us off to someday. And what if someday doesn't come, right? Because health issues can happen, accidents can happen. Life gets in the way. And so I want to encourage people to bring those someday things into the center, bring those things forward to now, and let's build the business around those things instead of have this business over here and this family over here, and the two are kind of competing against each other. And so we want to help people rediscover the fact that they can have both. You can really have a successful business that supports your family, that supports the things that matter most to you. And you know what? Your business isn't going to miss you if you take a day off. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs that are working 6 or 7 days a week are convinced, it'll just die. All my customers will quit. And, your business isn't going to quit if you come home at 5 o'clock and you put this away. And you put your cell phone aside and you say, I'm not answering my phone until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock again.
Yeah,
you have
absolutely.
to set some boundaries.
You and I are very similar in that. I call it escaping the rat race. We all get caught up in that rat race, which is why my whole focus as well as self-care. And I think we align, perfectly in that, because you lose that whole work-life balance. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I think, a lot of people would argue that balance doesn't exist. And the only reason I use balance in my language is because people understand the concept of work-life balance. But what I want to help people achieve is harmony, right? And when music harmonizes, right, the two different layers of music go together and it sounds more beautiful, right? Right. And I think the challenge with balance, when I think about the teeter-totter when we were kids on the playground and you try to get to that place where it's perfectly balanced, right? One of you's leaning forward, one of you's leaning back, sideways. But once it's balanced, what do you have to do? Stop, freeze. You can't do anything, right? And having raised two children, recognizing, if our house was in balance, and you'd have to tell everybody, all right, no one move. Everything's perfect. Just don't move. Everybody stop. Nope, don't move. Right? Because the truth is life happens and we're constantly in motion. And what you really want isn't this balance where one is competing against the other. You want harmony where the two are overlapping and creating this beautiful music that is in harmony together. And I think we pit our business against our family, and it creates that dynamic where you're trying to fight for balance, and really putting the two in competition is really hurtful to your own mindset, but then also to the impact it has on both your business and your family.
Yeah, because it does really impact both. And a lot of people, I don't think, realize that, because they're working so hard, and either the family's suffering or maybe the clients are suffering because you project that tension and that, and that stress that you have. And a lot of people project it and they don't even realize they're doing it.
Well, we've put this out there, right? We've been raised to go to school from 9 to 5, and then to get a job from 9 to 5, and to be a good parent, right? To be a good father, to be a good wife, to be a good mother. You've got to have that job, and the job's just going to take care of stuff. And most people are just working for money, right? They're working to get paid. They're working to use that money for their family. And they think, well, if I just get a little bit more, I can do a little bit more for my family. And you get caught up in that reward. Well, we're looking at the wrong reward. Right.
Right.
And obviously money's important. I think money is magical, beautiful, this beautiful spiritual gift of, you receive when you do good service. It's absolutely incredible. But we get caught up in thinking that it's the ultimate reward rather than focusing on the things that really matter to us. And I think when we don't have that intentionality, right, when we don't intentionally plan the things that we want, we get whatever life throws at us. And I think a lot of people just get caught up in this rhythm of life, right? We wake up in the morning, we do our morning routine, we go to work, and we come home at night, and we wake up in the morning, we do our morning routine, we go to work, right? And it just becomes this rhythm. And a lot of people are fighting through the 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, just to get to the weekend. I just want to break this rhythm for one day, right? And their only self-care is that working for that one weekend, or working all year long for one little week vacation someplace.
Yeah. It's like, are you living to work, or are you working to live? Which way are you going?
Well, and I think we've been taught to do it the wrong way. We've been taught by our parents' experience, by our grandparents' experience, by what we've seen in others, by what the school system and education system teaches us, is that work is more important. Is that work sets the tone for all the others, and we put all our energy into work. The other negative of that is when work fills us full of all this negative impact, right? All this negative stuff we absorb through this work day. The only place we feel free to release that is in our family. And so in the worst case scenario, a lot of times people go home and they let those emotions go that they've held on to all day long in control, right? Because they have to be controlled at work and they have to put on that work face. But at home, they let it down, and they dump their junk into their children. They dump their junk into their spouse. And a lot of times they let go of some of those emotions that they've held on to, anger and resentment and all these things. And they're tearing into the ones that they love unintentionally, because they have to find a place to dump those things, because we haven't been taught how to handle those emotions. We haven't been taught how to let that emotion flow through us rather than get stuck in us. And in a lot of cases, I've seen them tear apart families because all the stress and pressure of the day that we hold on to work, because we have to put on that work face, we let go of in our family. And so it's double damaging, right? Because we're not intentional with our time, and we're not intentional with our emotions. And so now our time and spirit are working against our family and the thing that we care about the most in the world.
Yep. And it's slowly changing through the generations, depending on what generation you are. If you were the traditional baby boomer, Gen X, Absolutely. We were taught you go to school, you get a job, you get a degree, you get a job, you go work for somebody. And, then they don't understand their own children, that they don't want that. Well, they don't want that because they've seen you come home day after day and dump that emotional bucket that you're talking about, that they just, on your family, and they don't want to have a life like that. So it takes time, to change. But then, I think some of the parents struggle because they don't understand. They think the kids are throwing their life away. Well, no, they're just finding a better path, for their career.
Well, and I think the companies are changing. We're starting to recognize that, my grandfather worked for the same company for 45 years. There was a loyalty there. My father worked for the second company he worked for 28 years, but he got laid off by the first one that was supposed to be so terrific and would have taken care of him. But the truth is now I mean, we're in a time in 2023 where all the news, literally LinkedIn news, has got who's laying off people today. Like that's their first headline on the LinkedIn is what companies are laying off people. There's no loyalty. The loyalty for the CEO is to his stockholders, not to his employees. And I think that next generation of millennials and those that are following are recognizing, you know what? They're not being loyal to me. I don't owe them anything. Right. And so
Exactly.
there is a place where we're starting to grow up and recognize, like, wait a minute, I've given you 30 years and you're not even going to give me a gold watch. In fact, you're going to give me a pink slip and let me go. Like, wait a minute. And so I think that the corporate structure is starting to has revealed itself, its true character. And most people are starting to recognize that and realize I can do better. Right. And that's why
Mhm.
entrepreneurship is continuing to rise. And the challenge is that so many entrepreneurs start with these really good work ethics, but they treat their company like a job. And so they do a really good job, but they
Right.
haven't quite shifted to CEO yet. They haven't quite shifted to this model where they're leading a company. Even if they're the only employee, you have to treat it differently than just a job.
And it is different too. If you're working a job, which we call the job, just over broke, or whatever you want to call it standing for, when you're doing it just to make ends meet, and it's nothing that you're really passionate about, or what maybe you weren't designed to do, that adds a whole nother level of stress and tension, and it's tough sometimes to find that, balance, find something that you're passionate about and be able to make your living, which is what entrepreneurs have, been taught to do. They're two totally different worlds.
Absolutely. And helping entrepreneurs to fully embrace the freedom of the entrepreneurship. And obviously some entrepreneurs get into it because they hate their boss and they don't want to have a boss. And that might not be the best motivation for starting your own company, because you're still going to have bosses. You still have to serve your clients and you still have to make people happy. And business is really about people. But if you're intentional and you have a plan, you can find the thing that you're passionate about, and you can be working with the people that you're passionate about working with, and you really can design this life that serves you and your family in an incredible way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is really important, especially today. And I think it also came to the forefront, during the whole COVID and the shutdown, because people that were used to going to jobs and now they couldn't. A lot of us have been working from home for years, but they just didn't even understand that shift. It's like, you can do what, and so once they started learning that, now you got some of them that have learned how to do that. And yeah, they're not going to go back to 9 to 5. And we have all kinds of places hiring, but they're pretty much jobs that people don't want. you know,
Well, and I think we're going to start to see more and more, especially with the work from home, is productivity based pay. And I think entrepreneurship is the heart of that, right? You get
Mhm.
paid for work and you get paid for helping your clients accomplish things and doing things. I think so many people don't like sales because sales is the one place where it's productivity based. You get paid for the production you create. But more and more workplaces are starting to recognize that we can do that for work for home people as well, and start to recognize that, hey, if they're working from home, some people are more productive. They're actually getting more work done. And so they should be compensated fairly for that. Right. And I think that's been, an interesting challenge. And I think the other piece that aligns so much with you and your audience is there's more and more recognition of the need for self-care in the corporate space. And obviously entrepreneurs that have stepped out, they might not know that it's self-care that they need, but they recognize that there's something missing, right? There's a piece missing, and
Yeah.
it's okay to give ourselves permission to take care of ourselves and to take care of our families, because the truth is I can help you start a new business. I can help you fix your business. We can do all kinds of stuff with business, and we can go get a job if we have to. Fixing a family is a lot more work. So
Yeah,
why
and
not
if you
take
don't
care of the
start from
family?
here, if you don't start from in here and fix whatever's going on with you and fill your cup, you can't constantly pour into all those avenues. You can't.
Ooh, absolutely. Yeah. I love that analogy, right? Filling your own cup so that you start with a full cup to be able to pour yourself out um, to those that you're serving,
Yeah.
especially, and then reminding yourself to have a regular rhythm of filling yourself back up, right? Because a lot of people can give themselves away and exhaust themselves, and you and I work, with lots of health and wellness folks that love to give themselves away, and
Mhm.
they all recognize the need for self-care, but they're so good at giving themselves away that they don't take the time to even feel guilty sometimes for wanting to fill themselves back up.
It's funny. It seems like no matter what profession you get in, you'll be really good about it and you love it, but you really suck at doing it for yourself. Whether you might work on cars for a living, but when you come home, your own cars go to pot because you're not working on it. It's some of my friends that have been, nurses or have been, combat medics and stuff, they suck at taking care of themselves, but they're great at jumping in and taking care of other people. It's like it just gets lost. It's amazing how that seems to happen.
Well, and a lot of them emotionally feel guilty, like they've programmed themselves that other people are so much more important than themselves, that I'll be okay. I can do one more. And the reality is that when we do fill ourselves up, our impact with others increases exponentially. Like, it's a 10x or 100x when you're filled back up. And so you're actually hurting those other people that you're trying to so-called help if you're not taking care of yourself.
It's true. And it takes time. I mean, it took me time. I was always one of those helper giver kind of people where I just kept constantly pouring. And yeah, if I stopped, I was like, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. But when I finally got that routine in where I block out a certain time, this is my time. This is what I do that I enjoy, because you stop doing the things that you enjoy. I used to cross stitch. I used to do a lot of different things. I have a ton of stuff and I haven't, and you don't get back to it. You just stop making time for those things that brought you that little bit of enjoyment. And so, yeah, it takes time, but if you do it, you feel better for it, and I always tell people self-care is more than just bubble baths. People think self-care, they think massages and hair, and it's a female thing. No, it's guys too. And it's emotional, it's mental, it's physical, professional. I mean, there's a whole realm of self-care. It's not just the
Absolutely.
woo stuff.
It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't have self-care depends on your personality, right? Obviously for an introvert, self-care is going to be, that alone time. And maybe that is a bubble bath, or maybe that is a massage, but for an extrovert, self-care might just be a night at the club and going out and getting fueled up with time with their friends. And I know the introverts listening are going, oh, that would be torture. But the truth is you have to know yourself. And if you haven't taken the time to know what fuels you, know what fills you up, then that's an important first step for sure. And I think Productivity Unleashed, our little 4-hour mini event next Monday, is really about taking that first step towards intentionality, right? We want to own our shift and own that, basically, Jocko Willink, extreme ownership. The only one that's going to take care of me and my business is me. It's not anyone else's fault for the situation that I'm in. It's not, my mommy's not coming to clean it up. My mommy's not going to come and fix it. I need to own it, and I need to be intentional about. So that's really the first step, is helping people own their situation. And we're going to evaluate what their situation is, right? So we know this is where you're at. All right, this is our starting point. And then we'll start looking at what are the things that really matter, and start helping somebody identify those values that really do matter, and put those things first. And then let's start to figure out, how do we establish some goals and habits that can support what really matters. And so it's really about taking those first steps in to redesigning your life and business around what you really want.
Absolutely. And so your 4-hour workshop is next Monday. It is online, correct?
Yep. So all virtual. So anyone around the world that can jump on a computer can join us.
Okay. And what time is it starting?
So it's 9. I think it's 9 Mountain Time. So it'll be 10 o'clock Central Time. Was that 11 o'clock Eastern Time? So and then we do have a VIP option that we're recording, and then people could get the recording if they want to jump on VIP, and it's pretty economical. It's still only $47 for the whole 4 hours. And they actually get a bonus hour of Q&A, and then also access to the recordings.
That is awesome. And we'll have that link for you in the comments once we are done here with the video, so that you can sign up and make sure you do that for next Monday. I think that is an awesome workshop, and great. There's a lot of value in that. Like you said, $47 would be nothing for that investment. And it's nice to know that, if you don't have that time set out, or you can watch part of it, you can at least finish it up later. So
absolutely.
that is wonderful. Well, do you have any more that you wanted to add about that, or that?
No, I think this has been fantastic. And I think it's laid out the basic ideas of what's important to both you and I in the work that we do. And so, if people have questions or comments, feel free to, leave a comment, and, Laura and I will gladly lean in and help you. And if you get the chance to sign in, join our workshop, you'll take some really big steps towards improving your life and business. No matter where you're at in your business, we can help improve what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Or in life, like I said, it kind of works business and life. So it's definitely open to anyone that is looking to make that productivity, or make that, enhance that work-life balance or harmony, however you want to look at it. But I agree, harmony is, true balance is not there. It's a concept, but we definitely need that harmony. And I think that's important. So I want to thank you for taking the time and telling everyone about your workshop that you have coming up next week. And for those of you that are in the Missouri area, I will be at the Monroe Coffee Shop tonight doing the book signing for the Achieve Wellness book that I co-authored. So hopefully you can come out. That'll be from 5 to 7 this evening. And of course, we have Natalie Heckert coming up Wednesday afternoon from Club eFit, and Dawn Livingstone on Thursday from Voyage of Transcendence. And she's an ascension coach. So you want to stay tuned. And if you've missed out on any of these interviews, please go to the YouTube channel, click and like and subscribe. We are building that, and you will have all the interviews there. But I want everybody to have a wonderful day, and to remember that self-care is not selfish. It's essential for a healthier you. Have a good day.